All right, first thing we're going to start off with, guys, is thermal imaging. This gets everybody's eyes ooh and ah, and so I want you guys to kind of be engaged. So, you guys can all see me in that picture. I'm orange, red, and yellow, right? So that just means I'm the hottest thing inside the picture. I can say that joke because we're mostly females. My wife doesn't watch these videos, so everything around me should be blue and black. Okay, so those are the coldest areas in the picture at that particular time. What are we looking for here? We're looking for those blue and black spots to start moving on their own intelligently. So, is this the most exciting tool? No, but it's the coolest, so I will say that. And that wasn't a temperature joke, by the way. So, yeah, I got weird jokes. I'm a dad, so I got dad jokes all night, guys. So hang in there with me. Well, if my daughter was here, she'd be like literally like walking away going, Dad, quit with the dad jokes. But anyway, so watch what happens when I leave the picture. That orange, red, and yellow is going to go somewhere else. You guys all see that? So as we're walking around, we're really going to try to keep somebody's skin tone inside of this the whole time.
We in trouble. No.
Why are we in trouble?
He did it.
It's an Uber driver.
She was snowed down. We're in trouble.
He's just an Uber driver. He's lost. All right. So, where was I? Somebody's skin has got to stay in there because obviously we're going to be the warmest thing out here. It's about 74, 75 degrees out here, ambient temperature. So, Dustin, I'm going to need you to hold this horizontal. You said you wanted to see something from the jail. Hopefully you capture something for us tonight. Now, he's a cameraman. You're going to keep that horizontal, and the red square means that it's recording. If it turns to a circle, please let me know. I have to splice video together so everybody has one video to watch. So it just kind of changes my dynamic in the morning. All right, so what do we want to go to next? Let's go to spirit boxes. I have
Debris got so excited.
I like this.
Yep.
See how I do that? I mention what it is and I wait for the reaction.
Yep. That's what we were excited about all day.
All right, so I have 3 different types of spirit boxes, and they're all going to be out in the field tonight. So this one in particular is probably my favorite if I said everything. Who does not know what a spirit box is? Do I have to go into explanation? It's okay. That's all right, because most people are like, what the hell is a spirit box? So spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. Okay, so it works by sweeping FM radio stations at a very quick rate. It's on your TV shows or YouTube videos, it's that white noise that Zach Bagans gives you and then tells you what he thinks he heard. We're going to be doing that in real time.
That's douche Bagans.
Douche Bagans?
That's what we call
Is that what we're going with?
Mm-hmm.
He might be listening to all of my videos.
Oh, sorry, bro.
So, it's okay. He's not coming on the right? He's not hearing that. Yeah, pretty sure he's not paying me for anything. So, I have mine slowed down a little bit. Why do I do that? The driver's still lost. So, I slow it down because I want the radio chatter to come through. It's a different style of method because all of you are amateurs. You don't know what you're listening for yet. So if we can get a radio DJ or a song lyric or a commercial to actually give us a little piece of something and we can make it out, it's a 50-50 chance that it actually might mean something to the location where we are, a person we're talking about in history, or something going on with one of us. It happens all the time that way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and what this thing does actually is record the entire session for us. How cool is that? So tomorrow morning, you guys are going to get the recorded sweep without any outside noise. So we'll never know what the person who has this is asking, and even when it's on mute, it's still recording at a nice even level. So even if I say go ahead and turn the spirit boxes down because we're in kind of a quiet area or I want to tell you guys a story, it's because it's still recording for us, if I can get it to start recording. Oh, don't give me trouble tonight, seriously. So you guys will get this full recording back tomorrow morning. I'll give you little audio markers of things that I found, but you're going to have 90 to 120 minutes to go through to find more. So I'm just going to give you like 10 to 15, maybe 20 if I find a lot. There we go. Who is excited about this? BREANNA? Alright, so you have one button to worry about. I have it set up super simple. It's a little wheel at the top. You're going to control the volume. That's it. I'm going to keep it down as I keep going through the intro, just so you know. Let's continue with spirit boxes. Like I said, I have 3 of them, and now that you guys know how they work. So this one does the exact same thing, only it does not record. So I usually rely on 2 people to kind of go through this one. So obviously the little ball speaker at the top helps us hear it while we're outside because it's not meant to be outside. You guys
I thought she was going to jump over my shoulder and take it from me. She's like,
Yes.
no.
Well, guess who just got voluntold? So, the 2 of you, I put 2 people on this one because it doesn't record, so I need the 2 of you to verify what you actually hear. rewind button to rewind as well. It's on the side of the speaker. You hold the button up to get more volume. You hold it down to turn it down. That's face up, just so you know. There you go. Let's see. Last but not least, so I try to put one spirit box per group. So your group has one, you have one, so you need one, right? She's like, yay, I'll take one. So
Just saying, because way low. You better hold me if something happens.
you might, actually with 10 people, you're going to need to pick a partner to go with you to help you listen with yours too, just because of the way it's set up. Last night I had 9 people, so I could give that to one person and not worry, but pick a partner. So this one is actually going to give us a series of words from time to time in the center of the screen, and then it's going to save them to a list. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the list. This list is 80% BS, bullshit, it doesn't mean a damn thing. So it's meant to be a game and a hoax. It's the other 5 to 20% that's going to give us hopefully some very specific, detailed answers to some of the questions that we're going to be asking tonight. And that'll be where I give you the explanation and a backlink to show you where I got my information. So we're going to clear out last night's list, and we're going to start us off fresh. So the name Parker will not be on your list, just so everybody knows. If that's relatable to one of you, I'm sorry, but it was from last night. You will get the full list back. The cool thing is, at times, I will get somebody that emails me back and says, hey, my cat's name is Radar, and it said Cat Radar in the middle of it. I don't know that kind of stuff about you. So if you're asking personal things because we separated a little bit, I don't know what you're asking. You have to tell me. I'm always going to give you some kind of suggestion, but if you're going off-road, I need to know. All right, Dustin and Megan are taken care of. Let's see here. What do we want to go to next? Yes. All right. Can the two of you work together? Perfect. This is the neuralizer from Men in Black. None of you are going to remember a damn thing, other than the recording. It's a laser.
Oh, I love this.
How cool is this?
I want one.
Yes.
What does this thing do for us? You can't see the lasers until something passes through it.
Yeah.
Okay, so really cool stuff. This goes to somebody responsible. Very responsible. As I just flashed the car behind me before I bring the boxes out, right? Heather caught me. She's like, I saw that. So this one, well, they both put in the same pair of hands. So between the two of you, who's going to get the lasers?
Oh, Diana,
Yeah, you
it's
guys
way
can-
low.
Alright, so there's number one. This one, make sure I'm not going to flash myself in the face. This one gives us red squares. So why do I want red squares? So in the event we actually capture something right here, either in a picture or through video, I can take that still and put it in 3D software, and you guys will have a full view plus measurements of the apparition that we actually caught. Very cool stuff. So again, we're looking for things that are going to be passing through the lasers because we can't see them. That's why we wait for something to go through. So both lasers go to the same pair of hands.
Oh.
Yeah, look at you. Oh, there you go, flashing people already. On the ground. All right, so with that partner, where is it? There it is. All right, so simple picture taking. Point one of those lasers down for me.
Oh, how funny.
So what you're going to be doing literally is going to be from waist level, and you're going to be shooting pictures through the lasers. It's not down. I know what those green dots look like. I don't know what's going to be passing through here, and it's going to be so fast, we're going to miss it. That's why we have this guy. There's no flash, obvious reasons. I don't need any false positives, and obviously with no flash, it'd be very still. They're telling me you're a photographer, so you know these things already. So again, that's all you. Take a million pictures. I don't care how many. The more the better. That's the way I kind of look at that. Alright, where are we?
Push it down. How does she turn
Get
the
to
red
you,
one
don't
on?
worry.
Oh, you're fine.
How does she turn the
I
red
just
one
know
on?
what that is. So
It's
yeah.
got a toggle switch on the side. So the little trigger,
It's the electrical
pointing it at
magnet.
yourself. There you go. That one stays on the green when you have to hold. So Heather, just because you seem like you're very new to all this. Okay, so we're going to give you something very, very simple. Heather's job is to make sure, like, she's going to be our first point of contact if something's actually happening. So this is an EMF meter. All you have to do is hold it and tell us when those blinky lights go off. But let me explain what these blinky lights do, because Zach never does. This one is very common on all your TV shows because it's very sensitive. It does measure 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. You can can go ahead and shut that laser off so that way we're not flashing right. There we go, you got it. Right?
Sorry, I'd play with it.
Now, with that being said, the first one is natural. That's why it's not doing anything. The second one's going to be from electronic devices. I'm boring you already. That's great. Got to liven it up for heaven. So, the next one's going to be from electronic devices. For example, my cell phone will make this thing go into a rhythm or a pulse. Electrical lines will make it do that. Buildings will make it do that because they electrical lines. We don't want rhythms and pulses either. We want it to go a little nuts. We want it to go crazy. So when this thing starts going erratic, that's where your time is to shine and say, hey, I got something going on here. I'm still going to try to debunk every single time, just so you guys know. There you go. Nice and simple. It doesn't vibrate. It doesn't make any noise. You got to watch it. Yep, trust me. You'll see the flashies going in your face. All right. What do I have left? Who do I have left?
Alexa. Me.
So you're the only one. You guys are paired. You're paired.
We're paired.
You guys are good. Perfect. Alexis, you are my multitasker.
Oh, fun.
This is my brand new device. I've had it, and I say brand new, I've had it for about 2 months. It is a millimeter. So a millimeter does multiple things. I introduced this thing last because now it'll make sense of what it does now that all of the other devices are out. First thing, it has an EMF meter in it, just like Heather's device. That's the big numbers. Anything above 0.4, I'm going to get a little excited about.
Okay.
It also has ambient temperature at the bottom, so in case Dustin... Wow, look at me catching the names.
I was gonna say something. She was like, I was like, damn, he is good.
Well, I'm not. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
So I'm normally the guy that forgets his own characters. I have to go back and, what did I name that guy? So ambient temperature. So if he captures something, we can find out through the yellow probe where that cold spot is actually coming from and still debunk it even further. Last but not least, it actually has a motion detector on it. It's called a REM pod. So the REM pod is creating an EMF field around the antenna. So if something gets close to it, it doesn't have to touch it. Now, as you get closer, those lights are going to go up and make noises. Obviously, the tones change as well. So the REM pod is super annoying on the audio. So at times, I'll say, go ahead and shut it down, and I'll show you how to use it even further. So that one goes to you. All right, everybody seems to be covered on as far as devices go. Let's cover COVID stuff real quick. I'm sorry I did not cover that already. So I don't care about masks. That's not my thing. They're no longer giving any... I have epilepsy. You have no idea how hard this has been. Like, especially talking as much as I do. But anyway, if you guys don't want to wear masks all night, I don't care. They're not giving any more citations. In the event I have to get close to you based on your device, I will mask up. That's just my respect to you guys in case somebody is that COVID fearful and doesn't want to speak up. I understand that. More populated areas, I will probably mask up as well. Again, you guys do what you want. This is your tour, your vacation. You're not going to get a ticket. Before it was a better mask up kind of thing, and I'm not paying your ticket, you're not going to pay mine. Because again, that's $100 times 10 people. That's $1,000 that I would have to fork out if everybody got a ticket and you guys coming after me. But anyway, all of your devices that you're holding have been sanitized. I do that twice a day, once before I upload, because you guys all touched it the night before, and then right before the tour. So that way, everything's been, after I touched it, it's been handled again. So, I don't have any extra masks anymore, because the people that before me took them all from all the citations and all that mess. And I do have hand sanitizer in case anybody needs it. You guys all good on the COVID front? Because I am. I don't want to talk about it. You guys are on vacation. I'm getting ready to go on vacation next week, so I leave Saturday. Visit my mother-in-law up in Pennsylvania, do a couple of investigations up there.
She got ghosts.
Well, it's in the Pittsburgh area,
Okay.
so there's quite a few places I haven't hit yet. So you guys will find out that my investigations that I do are in a podcast. So when you guys get your data page back tomorrow, all of my stuff that I do besides tours is at the top of your page. My books, my obviously the tour stuff, where to leave reviews, the podcast. I'm a very busy guy, so as you guys will see as we kind of go throughout the night. So we start here for a reason. This place is haunted, of course. It wasn't just a creepy bar so 4 ladies or 3 ladies could sit at the corner and pretend that they weren't prostitutes that they claimed when I first got here. Nick, why'd you stick us here?
She had the creeps ever since we came and stood up here. She's like, this place creeps me out.
Yeah, that's why I try to get here at like 8:44, so that way nobody's up here standing by themselves. In case somebody's super eager and they get here at 8:29, then I'm kind of
we did.
We actually got here like 7:30ish and was like, maybe we should just go get a drink somewhere.
All right. You guys are going to be a fun group. At least I got somebody talking. You guys hear me? You guys need to interact. This is, not just me talking all night. They just came from their jail tour, so they're just comparing me all night long, and I understand.
That's not true. You're already 10 times better than that guy.
Oh, I'll take that.
We all went to Red.
don't eat out either. So Charleston, this is way too expensive for me to eat out every day. So I need to like cook every day. And I pack a lunch every day.
Dang, you should have had you bring us dinner.
Sorry. We had Alfredo tonight. It was good. All right, haunted location.
Yes.
Big John's. That's what this place used to be called back in the 70s. I think it only started back in the 50s. But anyway, Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. So he used to sit in the back of the bar. He would tell the bartender if the people coming in, well, the cadets from the Citadel, because they were obviously college kids, if they were of age to drink. One night, two guys came in, they weren't of age. Big John tells the bartender to get them out of here. So they leave, pretty pissed. The next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. We're going to show Big John that they're, you know, whatever. They're young kids. They don't know what they're doing. But anyway, Big John sees all of this and they get into a bar fight. They start fighting on the floor. It's Big John versus these two guys. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck. Bullet goes into the wall. Big John gets up and goes back to the bar and he tells the bartender, get me another beer. Go get them guys an ambulance. Now, nobody died in that story. Anybody want to guess what's haunting the place? Bullet hole is allegedly still here. Remember the bullet hole that ricocheted off his neck and went into the wall? I say allegedly because they are renovating the place. I have to go back in and double check. So once they do that, I'll be able to see if it's actually still here. They say that people sitting in the front of the bar get a little queasy, nauseous, headaches, those kind of things. I bring that stuff up on purpose because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. We are literally ghost hunting. There's going to be high EMF fields. It's almost a guarantee. If any of you are feeling any of those symptoms, queasy, nauseous, headache, I need to know immediately. It's a big deal. I haven't had an instance in probably a year, and when I do, I normally have a nurse on board. Anybody want to fess up? Paramedic. So the first time somebody passed out on my tour, I was in CPR class the next day. I'll just say, so because it wasn't the last time. So let's not talk about our own health, right? Nobody wants to hear that they might get sick from hanging out with a tour guide. So this building also, we had a big earthquake in 1886. So if you didn't take any kind of Charleston history tour, now you know we had a big earthquake here. I'll mention it several times throughout the night. With that said, a piece of the mantle that was in the front of the building, the mantle that's above your head is also in the front. A piece of it broke off and apparently struck somebody in the head and killed them. And that was the first death allegedly from that earthquake. I say allegedly because I have no proof. Again, I won't make things up for you guys. You guys all ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah.
All right. She's like, we're tired of standing here. Let's go this way. Just can't hide it? No.
Run away. What is it? Run away. It said run away? Oh my God.
Smells like horses.
Because it kept keep them here.
Alright, so first and foremost, this place, we're going to be here very briefly. This is your novice level. This is where I get to bounce around with all of you and show you more things about your devices. But let me tell you what's going on here first. First, this is the Big Red Barn lot. This is where we keep your horses for your carriage rides. Okay, the horses are still inside. Where's my lasers? You have lasers? So, Suela, no lasers on that building. They have to stay on the ground. You will spook the horses. Guys, this is technically not a scary tour. It's more scientific, as you guys can see. So, if you wanted a jump scare, go ahead and shoot those lasers in there. Crank the spirit box up. Let the horses kick that metal wall. I guarantee you all of us will pee our pants. Right? So, with that said, this is also the same building where we kept horses that delivered milk to Charleston. Whenever I'm telling you a brief history or any story tonight, I will always emphasize keywords for the 3 spirit boxes that are out there. New York Giants, 1947, Big John. Those were your keywords back there. Here, it's delivery, milk, but they also delivered eggs. Charleston, kind of irrelevant. Your radio stations are always going to say that. So, those are the keywords that we want to be looking for. But let's talk about those spirit boxes for just a second. This is not TV. This is not, is somebody here, right? Because if somebody says no, that means somebody's here, okay? I want you all to kind of keep that in mind. But if the 2 noisy spirit boxes, that one and this one, if you guys hear a real estate commercial come through and a real estate agent's talking about houses, you think you heard the word yes. So yes and no questions, omit. Reword it. Do anything you have to not ask a yes or no question. We want details. We want answers. We don't want to, were you happy about your marriage? No. We don't want those kind of things. We want very specifics. So, novice level, let's go with something we know. And we all agree that the barn is red. Nobody here is colorblind and I didn't offend. Good. So, it's happened. Don't laugh. That guy gave me a hard time all night long. So, we're going to ask something simple. If somebody's here, tell me what color the barn is. Now, obviously your mind's going to red. But think of things that are also specifically red. Fire trucks, blood, a heart. Anything that would be specifically red. This is about putting clues together. This isn't always going to be a conversation. So I want you guys to kind of keep that in mind as you guys are going through your spirit boxes. Now, Megan's spirit box, I'm going to be going through because hers gives very specific details. Some of them are going to be very vague. But in the morning, I might find that all those vague terms need a full sentence. I never know. Look at that. We finally got something going on. I was like, Heather. Yeah, that's when you got to interrupt me. Interact it. So
I was like, holy.
Yeah, that's when you got to speak up. That's why I gave it to you.
It went up to the red one too, just FYI.
Awesome. So we're going to work on that very specific. All right, so now that you guys kind of have the history and what's going on with the spirit boxes, because that's the main focus right now, we can start. We're going to stay within the confines of the slide. I want you guys to also remember we're going to hit a lot of parking lots. We're 11 people. Yeah. We need to, I don't want the two noisy spirit boxes to be anywhere near each other. You guys are going to cross the streams, and we don't want to do that. Nobody got my cross the streams joke. Ghostbusters, y'all, come on. Don't cross the streams. I normally say it with the lasers, but it was perfect for this one. But I am going to work with the thermal imaging camera first, and then I'm going to bounce around. Right here. Nice. Well, where's your spirit box part of your team? Right here. So, that's where you guys need to kind of hang out and do a little quick spirit box session. The three of you, go ahead and start wandering. Let's get your spirit box cranked. And then I'm going to work with thermal imaging and then come to you because you need to know how to use that millimeter. So, or the REM pod part of it. All right. Thermal imaging.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what I want you to kind of do, this wall over here seems pretty blank. So go ahead and point your camera right at that wall for me. It should bleed out to one color. So you want to try to keep somebody in view. Do you see how the wall changed color now? Yeah. Okay, so that's a big part of that. The next location, when I'm kind of bouncing around with everybody, I always like to do it at the next location to show you a little bit more evidence. But I have pieces from that particular unit that I can show you of what you're actually looking for. Okay. In here, you have all kinds of different materials, so it's a great spot for you. You have foliage, you have asphalt, metal, wood. I want you to just get a basic gist of the temperatures and how those things work. And again, even if you're not watching it all night, which is perfectly fine, I'm going to take a quick skim through it in the morning, and you're going to get the whole video back anyway. So if we miss something in real time, it's not a big deal. Glitches on that thing, when basically you're looking for any kind of white film or a white flash of some sort to come through on there. Right. Now that thermal imaging camera is the same tool that mechanics and firemen use. So it's one of the reasons why I wanted it. I wanted the real deal. I didn't want an app or anything crazy. I tried them all. They all suck. I'm sure you guys played with them too. I love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
And my daughter, if she was here, she'd be trying to take it off your damn back.
She's got Chucky and Tiffany on her.
And Chucky tattoo on my legs, so.
Nice. Your spirit box. So in the event, I'll say, hey Megan, what words did we have? So hit the little calendar to the right of the words. It'll give you the full list. So you can scroll through it, just don't hit the red X's, or clear, or export. It's always circle back. So it's always, the calendar, then circle back. So at times I'll say, what words did we get because I was talking with somebody else. But, the same types of questions. You guys seem like you're pretty hip to this. I mean, you're going to jail. You're wearing Chucky, so it seems like you guys are pretty hip to the lingo. And have you guys dabbled with anything like this before? Have you guys ever gone to this extent of doing any kind of ghost hunting?
We've had a Ouija board.
Okay. Have you ever used it?
Yeah, we went down to Savannah, Georgia, and stayed in the Marshall House.
Okay.
Some super
I've
nice.
been to Waverly Hills and stuff like that.
Nice.
And the hotel in Missouri.
Yeah, but I can't think of the name of it. It went in Missouri.
It wasn't?
The Crescent Hotel.
Crescent.
Oh, I've heard of that place. I want to say the guys from Hillbilly Horror Stories covered that one on their podcast, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. It could have been Graveyard Tales. But I know I've heard of that one before. But yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't like profiling. I just kind of figured you guys were kind of hip to this stuff.
Yeah, no, you'd be correct.
So, I'm usually pretty good about character. It's names I have trouble with. But again, ask those questions. that app, again, 80% of it is bullshit. You know, if it were sitting in my living room, it's still going to give me generated words from time to time. My apartment's not haunted. So, again, it's going to do its job because that's what it's meant to do. It's that other 5 to 20%. That was awesome. Here's when we have something there, that means something else is probably popping up somewhere else. Right. That's usually the first device that I go through to kind of get a barometer of what the rest of the, you know, the data is going to look like. So if I have a lot coming from there, then I'm usually pretty open to what else can I get on the other stuff. So again, get a gist of the thermal imaging. Let me get all these other folks that aren't familiar with their devices kind of hip to what they're actually doing. Spirit box girls, they seem like they're pretty hip, but I want to get that millimeter going because that REM pod is pretty awesome. And this is a place where it actually goes off quite a bit. All right. Where is that?
If somebody farts, you'll be able.
I can see your tits.
Nice.
I can see exactly. That's definitely not what I'm saying. My name's Dustin. What's your name?
Oh yeah, just put it in your pocket. Just don't worry.
You need to find a truck. Trash can. No, we totally do fine. For sure.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
So that way you kind of know what you're looking for in the morning. Write something. Alright. Your device is super simple. So right now I see a little bit of a pattern. It's going up just a more like a long one, kind of like a flight 3 times, and then one back. So I mean, I can see that's something I made, and I know it's not man-made. We have a sewer underneath us, and there's a correlation with it.
Hey, we got a stick. Hello. Did you hear the hello? It said hello, like through it though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah, that's what she's showing me.
Alright, so antenna up, flip the device around. If you notice, go ahead and put it to the back. There you go. You notice it will come back right here. So you can keep that kind of laid out all night. On the back. Back again. Right button, right side. So push that button. Yeah. Right. But right now, your EMF field here is on. Sorry, I flashed you again. But notice that you don't have a reading, so it's reading two different types of EMF fields.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So again, super cool device. I love this thing.
That's why I got excited when you found it on point.
We got the photographer, the camera.
Well, I stayed, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I stayed in the so that was really cool.
Yeah, and you use one of those.
Yeah. They actually let me, yeah, I actually got a bunch. They actually let us, because my grandma actually worked there in the 70s, so they actually let me go to like some places there. Where they keep
Is it normal to see like a silhouette or outline of a person next to the person?
Yes. So what it's doing, because it doesn't see in 3D, is it's giving you little white outlines.
Right,
And
okay.
sometimes it's just a little bit off, you know, because it's got to calibrate often, like
gotcha.
every 1 to 3 minutes. So you'll see it stop, like, oh shit, it moved, it didn't move. But it's just calibrating.
Well, I noticed that it was the had like the backpack on like she did, and I was like, that's definitely just the outline of
Yeah,
her.
you got it. And it'll outline lights too, just so you know, because light is going to be warmer than wherever there's no light.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, me too.
Big John. Little John.
I've already read.
Oh, you gotta pay attention.
Oh yeah.
Let's get those spirit boxes cut off, and we're going to stay out of that whole main entrance and exit. We don't make ghost spirit stories in a cemetery, we find them. So, let me go. That death joke? Come on, guys, bad jokes. Let's do this. So, welcome to another beautiful site of Charleston. If you guys don't know where to park in downtown Charleston, by the time we're done, you guys have an issue, because we're going to hit a lot of lots. But again, this place, what was it used to be? This used to be the Pinckney Mansion site. So this is where Charles and Eliza Pinckney, that's where they lived. So with that said, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. I hate politics, we just got our election year, let's move on. You guys all good with that? Cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't waiting for an answer. So, Eliza married Charles at a very young age. I'm not going to tell you what age that is. This is your intermediate level, by the way. So, you guys are hopefully going to get those answers out of your spirit boxes, and maybe something will come up out of our motion detector and or thermal imaging. She married Charles young, and Charles was about double her age. So, if you can start guessing what those are, hopefully your spirit boxes will tell you. I know. Eliza usually waits until she starts spiking red. So, she married Charles because her father thought he was dying over in England, and he wanted all of his kids home. She didn't want to go. So she basically said, Dad, I don't want to go. I don't think you're dying. I'm going to get hitched. She stayed here. So, didn't give her citizenship, because there was no such thing yet. This was mid-colonial times, by the way. If I didn't mention that earlier, I'm mentioning it now. Stories are memorized. They're not a script. So, as you can see, I got to go back a little bit. But anyway, Dad got better. Eliza was right. And Dad started sending over gifts to Eliza, kind of like wedding gifts. One of those gifts happens to be the plant indigo. You guys have been here for at least a day. You've probably seen the word indigo in some way, shape, or form, or have heard about indigo. I don't see any head nods. You probably didn't even realize you've seen the word indigo, but I guarantee you'll see it 10 times tomorrow. So, because that's what happens here in Charleston. What is indigo? It's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight. That's how we still use it today. It's very expensive back then. The cool thing is for Eliza is that the rice plantations were going downhill, and her cash crop swooped right in. So, is it still going red? Yep. Now, I want you to also keep in mind this was colonial times. There's no such thing as a businesswoman in colonial times. So Eliza was a big pioneer, right? So she calls her dad up over in England and said, I need some contacts to be able to sell this very expensive dye. We can make a killing. So he sends her contacts, boom, all over the world. I want you to think of the colors royal blue. It's the kind of the same principle. It's where the term actually came from. The royals were wearing this. It was expensive. Our own Civil War, 1860s, right? The Union, they wore blue coats, and the Confederates wore gray coats. The gray coats were just less indigo. They're both made with indigo. So again, it's still being used today. It's still pretty pricey. But I'm only kind of touching the top of some of the things that Eliza's done for us. But I want to get you guys going with your spirit boxes and investigating this particular lot. I'm going to give you some odd questions and little weird facts about Eliza. Hopefully you can get the answers. She was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Both Elizas went by their maiden name. They both start with L. That's all I'm going to tell you. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. How old was she? Where did she die? What did she die from? Where is she buried? And which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral? Most people go after that one first. You can ask how old Charles was if you'd like. You can ask how many children she had. You already know she had at least one, right? But I will ask you that if you're going to ask about her kids, keep it very simple. There's a tragedy among them that she doesn't normally like to talk about. So maybe ask how many boys, how many girls, how many total. Get something very specific and move on. Now, if I come back and I'm checking up with you guys and you guys have very specific details, we will continue because she must be open about it. It's a touch and go with her. We never know what we're actually going to get. What else? We can ask what happened to the mansion. It's obviously not here anymore, right? So where is the mansion? You can ask anything about her plants, anything about her gardening, those kind of things, because she did experiment with a lot of different types of plants. She was a botanist. She loved that stuff. And I think that about covers it, but I do want to point out that the light is blinking tonight. It doesn't always blink. You guys see that light on the back?
This one.
Which one?
Oh, on the patio over there. This one flashed like 3 times while we've been standing right here.
Lasers in parking lots. Let me kind of give you a heated warning. No cars. They are strong enough to set off car alarms. I don't like to run with 10 people. Somebody gets left behind. So don't ask me how I know. But again, just kind of keep the cars, lasers off the cars. Speaking of cars, these are people's vehicles. People get a little weird about us filming and taking pictures of their vehicles. If somebody comes up to their vehicle, I want you guys to kind of hang out and chill. We're not videotaping anything, Dustin, and we're not taking pictures of somebody's license plate. Now, granted, I will tell you that if I was a car thief, that thermal imaging camera would be my first tool because I can see how long these cars have been here based on their heat signature. Dustin's like, yes, he must be a car thief. I'm kidding. I'm not accusing him. So he's my only guy in the group. I gotta keep him close, right? But anyways, back to the light. That is normally in sync with Heather's device. So if she were to hold it up like she's gonna take a selfie, it's usually in sync with whatever's going on with her. She'll get a pulse and a pulse will go over there. I don't use the word energy because it's too vague and too generic. So whatever's influencing this particular lot is also influencing that light. And keep in mind, that light doesn't always blink. Sometimes it's just on. I never know, but that's my first barometer when we walk in here. Okay, it's blinking pretty steady. We're probably gonna get some good stuff out of this. So, explore the lot. This is where I get to stop talking for a few minutes. And you guys, we are gonna spend a good 10, 12, 15 minutes here based on the activity as I bounce around with all of you. So, have some fun in here. Dustin, I wanna show you that evidence. So, Scatter, go to work.
Do you know those names?
I do, I know all of them. Did you hear one? What do you got? No. No.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody that takes the pictures, everybody gets their own folder, but then the good stuff goes into an evidence folder. So that way I can keep everybody engaged and trying to get it. So what I'm about to show you is up there in that corner. You'll kind of recognize it when I start the video based on what you're watching. So that's obviously the wall, right? There's 2 living people walking by. So there's kind of like your barometer. We're going to fast forward a little bit, and we're going to look for 2 dead people going the opposite way when it pans back around.
Oh, definitely.
So it actually passes past the pole. So right in that first crevice. 1, 2. And I freeze framed this with some mechanics. There's 2 heads.
Yeah, no, I could see it just in the little blink of an eye there.
Yeah, it's not hard to decipher what that actually was. I want to see what comes up on her. Megan, what's on your word list so far?
Smell it.
Okay.
W, sponsor, approval,
I will tell you that W is relevant here. ask anything yet?
W.
You mind?
No, I was actually getting ready to pull out my date. I can't give that to you yet.
That's where you do.
It was the president. Happens all the time. Washington is locked in a mile away. So a lot of times I'll get Justin's initials. I'll get G or W. W shows up here all the time.
Yeah, see if it's stronger.
First time I've seen W.
It's all the way over.
Oh no, it's definitely.
See how I'm putting all those clues together? Yeah. You just gotta watch it. That's why I'll always say, you guys don't always know something. You think they don't tell you. All of a sudden, it's in this one. Or it's like that. You know what I mean? I always research it. I don't know it. Let you know. Now you guys do that. So I have to Google stuff and research and make sure that it's legit before I give you guys a full on, like, hey, this is why this happened. Yeah, the W, that's a for sure. I can put my paycheck on it.
I did. I didn't get to talk to it. I thought it was theirs. He said I had to keep somebody in it for like 4 rounds so that, because if I go like this, it just kind of blur. Okay, I didn't do it that time because these cars are hot, but.
I smell food and it smells how old? So I guess it was George Washington.
Yeah.
Allergy.
So the first president.
That was so weird that you totally asked questions and they responded. Who was the president at your?
It was really weird.
But we did ask about the house, and it said something about blown up, like gas or something. And then we started smelling gas. It's falling down, but we started smelling.
Washington. Washington. I heard it. Washington. She said George Washington.
Yeah.
Not the W that we were talking about, but something else that they have as well.
Smell it. Oh my God.
They were smelling gas.
We were smelling gas. This thing said gas, and we started
So we
smelling
were asking
gas.
about the house.
This just said thank you.
Well, this was mid-colonial times.
So they didn't
They didn't have gas in the house.
But they
It did burn down, but it wasn't from gas.
Because it was like, we didn't smell gas at all while we were over here until she just said gas, and then I started to smell it for some reason. And then I don't smell it now.
I remember your list of smells, and you're telling me about gas, and you smelled it. I'm like, hang on. We have somewhat of a connection.
Cool.
Very cool.
George Washington. Is there somebody named George? Because we heard George twice.
And like Wash. That was like George Wash.
So,
Yeah.
it was George Washington. And Megan's list, she's kind of like our base, because her device is kind of tying everybody together. She has the letter W. You gotta remember, Washington may not be in that vocabulary. So giving me his initials, G or W, often happens while I'm here. Because you guys heard Washington very specifically.
George Washington.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll take it.
I also thought I heard 14, but twice.
I'm thinking of dates too, so my mind is going.
Yeah, I don't know.
So whenever you guys give me numbers, I have a lot of the dates memorized and births and weddings and all that mess. Kind of going through.
Yeah, you're really strong right
You could probably turn that up a little bit here. You're not disturbing anybody. We're not disturbing any horses. again, I told you it's going to pick up words before and after. The number 70 is relevant here. That's how old Eliza was when she died. So again, I'll take 70.
Yeah.
Again, you're only going to be able to hear this evidence from my audio because this isn't recording. But again, I know it's kind of like, did it say 17 or 70? But why would they be talking about something from 1917 on the radio?
Right.
Bullet, we're still only a block away from Big John's. That would make sense there.
It's hard because you can hear multiple things.
So I'm trying to figure out the dynamic.
Alright, who's the ball parent?
Yeah. Came down on
Food smells so good.
Really, babe.
Huh?
I said really, babe.
Well, done.
Woo!
Yeah, normally when my device is saying fine, and I haven't tested it, but if my device is saying fine, that's fine. Okay, we're done. Because that's they don't want to see it. And I actually have a disembodied TV thing here from your spirit box that says just this. And when I say disembodied, it is over 11 different radio stations. And remember, I have software to backwards, slowing down, all that mess. So when I can count how many pulses are there, that's 11 different radio stations, which is basically like 3 to 4 strong stations. So with this one, right. Well, this is also like hard. Yeah, I seen that earlier. But again, we don't know. Well, again, mine.
Exactly. Eliza, do you have 9 kids? How many kids do you have? 9. We're gonna ask him.
Yeah. I really want to know.
Like
It's a really good reading right there. I can stay there.
No.
7,
No.
9.
No. What do you have? 4? Yes. Where'd you get that from? You have 4?
It said faux, and I just kind of put it like faux. Did I get it?
That's the
Demonic form.
I like how you guys are throwing darts now.
Focus.
She was from England. She was not speaking country. Trust me on that.
Focus.
So their device is not the easiest thing to listen to. First off, somebody broke the antenna. It doesn't get the reception fully like the other one. And that is the hardest one to listen to. So the fact that you're getting stuff out of it, like, I'm super impressed. Sick about. I heard sick. So that's the word I'm focused on there. How's your laser show going?
Nothing about May 14th.
May 14th?
I've heard
No.
14 twice. Oh, yeah, it is.
We'll add those two numbers together.
Do what?
Cement.
No,
Is that what that says? Cement.
Yeah.
14. You said you heard
Was she
twice.
buried here?
Oh, 28.
I mean, this is what
28
her house
is her
does.
birthday, December. If you heard it twice, she's telling me 14 till 14. Stretch. I'll take it. Not a lie. Kind of a stretch. That's fine. If you hear it again, and they're like, yeah, I'm not adding another 14 to 28. Oh, yeah. Is that 42? No, not doing it. So unless you got anything else loaded, I think.
How did this pass away?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Are you going to the jail?
No, that's somebody else's tour, and they don't have tools.
I don't know. The jail is almost
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's very nice. Oh yeah. That's multiplier.
Right.
Yeah, we only went in like 3 rooms. Didn't even get to see the whole thing.
How long was the tour?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Can I
Yeah.
ask what you paid for tickets by chance?
70.
For both of you, right?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Only 45 minutes. Like you're not. What are you gonna get? Like,
Oh, and they're not getting it either. So, just curious, because I mean they change the prices on that often.
And yeah, it was pretty dark too. And it was like 7:30.
Wow.
Basically, we went like the second floor, one just big room. He said where they kept the worst criminals. Then we went to the basement. Yeah, death row, and that was
Is
it.
that wheelchair still in the basement?
Yeah. He said it wasn't even. That's not like an original thing. There's another flickering light over there.
Caroline or Carolina?
I'm not seeing the other flickering light.
The floodlight.
Oh, that's the one I was
above
talking about
door.
earlier.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the street light that was flickering.
No, it's the floodlight.
My bad, my bad.
This food's
It's Charleston.
Yeah, everything smells
We ate like
delicious
2
now.
hours ago.
Does it even leave anything?
No.
Weed?
Yeah. You want a shovel? We're gonna give us like 5 more minutes. See what else pops up. You guys are getting quite a bit, so I don't want to stop it. Still giving us stuff. How many pictures are you giving me? And your last name maybe almost 500.
Ah, well, that's creepy.
What?
Most people can tell. Like,
Possessed.
normally that means like 80 or 100.
Yeah.
Hey,
Normal.
what about possession?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, part of the 80%. That thing's meant to scare people. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
that's
So, like,
definitely
the-
too cliche.
Devil,
Yeah. Ah.
possession, Nevaeh, which is heaven backwards, you know, all that.
I mean, if
mess
you
and
started
stuff.
floating, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like that, but then you better get it on film.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we hit up Taco Bell?
Why are you asking me? I don't care.
I mean, are you even hungry or something like that?
I like tacos. Yeah, but by then, yeah.
What time is it?
It's 10.
What all?
Yep.
It's later.
It's 8 minutes till 10.
All right, let's get you guys some answers. Let's huddle up here in the corner. I'll leave you guys hanging, right? Watch the rocks. Watch your step. How about that? All right.
You said, will you tell me about your children? And literally clear as day, the lady was like, we have. I was like, oh my god. And then what did it say after that? And it was like, you just had to know. You just had to know.
All right, so we figured out, kind of, that Eliza was 70 years old when she died. We did hear 1970, and I'm taking the 70 part of that out of it, because again, it's going to pick up words before and after. So that was pretty exciting. She died from breast cancer. So you're thinking, Nick, that was in colonial times. How does that even make sense? We're going off her medical records. So again, that was in 1793. There was no such thing as cancer yet. But she was in Philadelphia when she was getting her treatments, and that's where she died, and it's also where she's buried. So let's talk about Washington. So George Washington was the pallbearer, as we all now know. We did get the letter W as soon as we walked in here. We heard the word Washington over here, and you guys heard George, correct? And I think you guys heard George. So here's the ironic thing about George. I told you I have to put the clues together. There's 3 Georges in Eliza's story. Her father was George. Her infant son that died was named George after her father, and we have Washington. But the fact that we have Washington that came up and W, I'm taking as the George that we all heard was directly related to George W. Not George W. Bush. It's the first time I ever said it like that. I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm being Bush. Hope not. But anyway. So where were we? The house did burn down in the Great Fire of 1861. So when you guys take your other historical tours, am I your only tour, by the way? Yeah. That's usually the case. I have to assume you're going to take other tours, but anyway, if you ever take any other tours, they're always going to tell you about a great fire of something, and it's usually of the year that it happened. Great fires aren't just like this building burned down. You know, it went from peninsula coast to peninsula coast. This building just happened to be in the way. The only pictures we have of the Pinckney Mansion is after the fire, unfortunately. What are the questions I have you guys ask? There were 4 kids. I told you guys that already. It was Charles, obviously. George that we spoke of, Thomas, and Harriet was the only daughter. Anybody got anything related to writing? Ink, pen, paper, anything related to that at all? Okay, so the reason why I ask is because that often comes up here too, especially if you start asking about a daughter. Because her daughter married in Horry. Myrtle Beach is in Horry County. That kind of gives you the gist of where her daughter lived. Georgetown, Murrells Inlet area. It's probably a good 2 hours away from here. 2 hours drive for us was probably a day's ride in a horse and buggy carriage back then. So a lot of letters were written instead. All of those letters were published. I haven't read them, at least not all of them. But again, they're very interesting to read, but they used to have to write back and forth. So again, I look for things like that. What else did I have you guys ask? Did I have that covered? Did anybody ask anything off the wall that I need to know about? No? Nothing from you guys either? Oh, maiden name.
We asked maiden name.
It was maiden name, not middle.
Oh, maiden name.
So the maiden name was Lucas, and the first wife's Lamb. So Lamb and Lucas were the names that we were looking for there. So again, they both started with L. That covers this location. I'm really going to be interested to see what comes out of the spirit box that you guys missed out on. Of course, we have to go based off of 2 to 3 people verifying on that one. And thermal imaging, any other glitches, anything that I need to know about on your end?
A couple
Little things that, okay, you probably said something on the video, so I'll have to hopefully take your audio cues as that might be something to look at. The REM pod did not go off here, which is very odd. The REM pod usually goes a little nuts in here, so I'm really surprised that you got nothing. So from here, we're going to go up to Lodge Alley. That's about 3 to 4 blocks from here. A couple of things we need to know along the way. Spirit boxes, if you want to listen, you're listening for names. I'm not going to tell you which names or why, male or female. Whatever names you can give me, I'll let you know if they're relative at all. Lasers, it's an absolute no laser zone on East Bay Street. As far as the EMF meters that we have out, so the 2 of you, it's gonna go crazy as we walk up East Bay because of the parking meters. Yeah. We don't want any excitement as we roll down East Bay going, we have ghosts! You know? So don't get excited if you start to see some spikes. Dustin, obviously keep filming. And then you're keeping a great eye, like she is focused on that damn word list, guys. Yeah. Like she's on it. She's trying to put accents to it now, so it's great. Pictures. Oh, so when we get to Lodge Alley, I am gonna have. Sorry, I'll get it right. Okay. I gotta look around.
Quinn.
He's got what?
And Quinn's in here.
Oh.
We actually got another one. Yeah. Along with us.
So did you guys? I didn't charge you for that ticket, right? So when we get to Lodge Alley, I'm going to have you kind of lead the way with me. I'll say, all right, where's Amy? Where's my photographer? Because you're going to take some pictures of Lodge Alley before we go down it. So if I didn't tell you already, the rule of thumb with the pictures, now that we're all unmasked, if anybody shows up in a picture, I have to crop you out. You guys didn't sign waivers. I don't do legalities. It's bad enough that most of you had to answer that question about the masks anyway, and I have to take that off of there. But again, if anybody shows up in a picture, I'm sorry, by accident. If it has evidence in it, I'll have to really crop it so that you guys can see the evidence. But if by accident you took pictures, I have to do some editing. All right, you guys ready to walk? You got everything under control here?
Yep.
I'm glad you guys really like flared up.
Yeah,
You guys were worrying me at the very beginning. So we're actually gonna go. Everybody watch your step. It's 1 up, 3 down, and then a threshold is kind of a trip hazard too.
1 up. Oh, that's correct. It is 1 up. I was more concerned about Amy, and she did that perfect.
Again?
We cut it so razor thin.
Alright, walk fast, guys.
Doing my part. Oh, fancy.
Oh, they got ballet.
Oh. Look at that bar. Oh,
It says explode. People must be too much.
I'll explode on you later.
Oh! We're in public.
He probably totally caught me saying that on the thing.
Lincoln Park, 10 points. Woo!
Rest in peace, Chester.
Yeah, for real though.
Alright, I'm gonna speak up. Should be over there. Our car should be over there.
Oh yeah! I wonder if I can walk back to the same spot.
Oh god, look at the table and everybody's dressed. I don't even think we have the proper manners to eat at a place like that.
No, we didn't. No.
I burped
We weren't raised in the proper society.
Oh, my calves hurt.
You gotta have that fancy southern speak. You wanna eat
Not like that
that.
coffee outside.
What's the car at? Oh, right there.
More you scared me?
Spirit boxes, we cut those down. This is a quiet area.
Where did the name Ellie? Or Kelly.
You guys are in for a treat. You got pro photos on your wall.
I know, right? She actually shoots in this alley? Yeah. Oh, you said so you do photos? She said this is my alley. You never see it?
Guys, welcome to Lodge Alley. We will be brief here. Again, it's a quiet area, so I just want to kind of give you the gist of why we were listening for names. Did we hear any or see any?
Ellie or Kelly?
No. Kelly, maybe. Nothing on yours? So this is actually one of the first streets of Charleston. When we crossed that last crosswalk, we actually walked into the original Charlestown walls. So again, people used to live here. Like this was a street. So the Charlestown wall also was across the street on this day, the street that we walked up. So the smell of low tide when they come through you a lot. If you haven't smelled low tide yet, it's not. But low tide is not a very good smell. So with that being said, these people were lower class. They had little shotgun houses here. So I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here along with their occupation. So really cool stuff. The name I normally get is Benjamin and John. There were 4 different Johns that lived here during that time, but there was a John that lived here at the same time as a Benjamin in 1801. They were 2 out of the 5 residents. That is not a coincidence when I get that quite often. I would say about once a month those names will pop up for me together. So this also used to be where the Masonic Lodge was, so the Masons. This is where they used to meet. So the name Mason comes up here quite often as well, which is why it's also called Lodge Alley. So Masonic Lodge number 2. Again, we're leaning against the Lodge Alley Inn. Every hotel down here is a claim of the ghost. None of them give me free rooms. So I'm going to have to start paying for those probably next summer is what I'm looking at, because I have too many investigations coming out until then for the podcast. So I'll go after the Charleston hotels next year. So if you're looking for that, I know. It's a lot of work. I have the St. Augustine Lighthouse coming up. So I'm super stoked. That's in September. Cannot wait for that one. So if you're a fan of the ghost hunting shows, you've seen it. I'm going to be in it. I can't wait. So I was actually invited by another podcast called Hillbilly Horror Stories. They interviewed me a few weeks ago, and then he invited me to come along for the investigation because I have all the tools that you're holding. And he's like, we're going to need some people with tools, and I want to bring you along. Awesome. But anyway, we're going to walk through the rest of this alley. When we are finished, we're going to be in a neighborhood. So again, this is a very brief stop. You guys were, most of you are tourists. I just found out that Amy's not. But you guys needed to see some old bricks and cobblestone, right? So again, it's going to be very interesting if any names do pop up. But the neighborhood, I'm not allowed to be a tour guide in a neighborhood. So we're going to be just 11 friends walking through very quietly to get to our next stop. I will tell you, like, the next part of the tour is really kind of the legends and lore. So if we get evidence out of it, awesome. We're going to have one final, last expert level investigation at the Powder Magazine, where you guys are going to be able to ask whatever questions you want to based on the story that I give you. So it's not a place where I'm going to tell you, you know, about Eliza was married at this age. It's you're going to ask whatever you want to. But again, this neighborhood can be very picky, so we're going to be kind of quick. Am I walking too fast for anybody?
No.
And I was worried about the pregnant lady. She seems to be the one keeping up.
She'll kick all our out.
Really? All right, let's do this. Can everybody see? Some of you have open-toed shoes.
Yeah.
I'm so used to carrying that my purse feels weird. Yeah. Yeah. Like I keep touching it to like, it's like instinct, you know what I mean? To like just feel it, it's not there.
This is my other alley. This is my other alley.
Ah, St. Philip's. Of course.
Stop here. This is where you guys get to take a break. See, you guys paid me to come to work, and now you get a break. That's how it goes. Did I lose half the group? I did. But you guys are actually like a lot of fun, so I'm trying to squeeze in as many stories as I can. Smoker scalp, I promise. We thought we lost y'all.
Lollygagging.
Lollygagging? Did anybody get that word on their spirit box? Lollygagging?
She helped very clearly. In a raspy voice.
Raspy.
I thought it said window.
So when you guys tell me this stuff, it kind of helps me direct which stories I need to tell. So we're not really like cramped for time. We did really well with the last two places. So now I'm kind of like, which story do I tell based on what you guys are telling me? Any other crazy words out of you?
Spot, explode, indicator.
No, I mean, it's worth to say. I mean, we don't know if it means anything.
Okay.
But
Any? Well, you and I were talking, so you weren't listening.
Well,
Mine said, what should I do? Surgeon.
she got
Surgeon?
weird stuff on
Surgeon.
her. Surgeon. She got, what should I do?
And don't leave.
Surgeon and don't leave. Like
Did
just.
you guys all notice the alley that we walked past?
Yeah.
The beautiful, gorgeous alley back there. It's called Philadelphia Alley, but it's once known as Dueler's Alley. So, let me start off with the doorway. Everybody kind of turn your heads, and you guys see the opening in that wall back there?
Yeah.
So, in the event of a duel, and there was a loser, and it didn't always happen that way, the loser would come through that door, not the ghost. His friends would pick up the dead body, and they would bring him over this courtyard and drop him at St. Philip's, and then go celebrate the winner with a pint. So that's kind of what that doorway is for. It is original. So, before it was called.
My sister's senior photos right in front of that doorway. I'm like,
Nice. Okay, I call it the death beat. So,
maybe we'll do
before it was called Dueler's Alley, it was called Cow Alley.
Did you hear that?
So, with Cow Alley, that's because that's where all of the people in Charlestown kept their livestock. So let's talk about one of the duels, okay? Because that's what everybody wants to hear about. There was a doctor.
Robert?
No, a surgeon.
Surgeon.
That's what's leading me to this story.
Yeah.
So he moved down here from Rhode Island because he's supposed to get married. Do you know this story? Okay, so his name is Joseph Brown Ladd. Now Joseph, he was supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and the attorney that was handling that money and boring somebody else, see the yarns. Gotta get on with it, right? So the attorney that was handling all the money for Amanda told her she wasn't getting married to send the doctor away. He thought that the doctor was just not going to come. So he moves here to Charleston to prove he's going to start his practice here and make lots of money and they'll be happily ever after. So the coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. This guy was a doctor's student, so he probably was still dressed pretty well. So he set him up to be killed. It wasn't very cool. So somebody walking by, a local, his name was Ralph Isaacs. Ironically, the same initials of where the doctor came from, R.I., Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. You guys seeing where I get these connections from? Yeah. So with that said, he says, you don't want to stay here. Let me take you somewhere else. He takes him to 59 Church Street, which is about a mile from here. And we're on Church Street, just so you guys know. Obviously, because of the giant church. In case you guys didn't catch that. That's why I was over there taking a picture. She's like, I got it. So, man, I'm good with names tonight. I'm pretty proud. I got most of you. Some of you, I'm like, I don't know. Back to the story. So, where was I? So Ralph takes him there to become friends. The doctor's practice starts to take off just like he hoped. Amanda's going to be moving down soon. He now becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. Very happy kind of fella. Amanda's coming down. Him and Ralph used to go see plays together, but because the doctor made so much more money, the doctor had better seats. So obviously they couldn't sit next to each other. They talked about the plays on the way home. They go see William III from Shakespeare one night. I don't know which theater, and no tour guide can tell you which one. There were dozens at the time. They're talking about the actress that was there. She was new in town. The doctor loved her. Thought she was great. Ralph did not think so much of her at all. They start arguing. Then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance back home. So obviously they get pretty pissed off. They go their separate ways. You guys see that theme in Charleston? Somebody gets pissed off and walks away? The bar scene thing? Anyway. I told you that Ralph was from here. He has ties to the newspaper. He calls up his buddies and said, I need to put an ad in the paper telling the city of Charleston what a disgrace the doctor is to the city. He's not one of us. He's not from here. He takes all of our money. He's too expensive. The doctor sees this ad in the paper and he rebuttals with, let's go to Doors Alley. So they come down here. They take their 20 paces. They turn. The doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. You want to kill his friend? He only had one shot. Ralph, however, took one shot on the kneecap. He wasn't trying to kill the pregnant lady, I promise. So he takes it out on the kneecap of the doctor. So he didn't come through the death gate. His friends pick him up and they carry him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. It's the 1800s. He probably bled himself out. That's probably what happened. So they say as you walk through that alley, you can hear the whistles and or gunshots from the doctor. Now, have I had some whistles on there that could be hecklers? Yes, I have some that are definitive. You know, we know some hecklers. All the locals usually know the story, especially if they live down there. They love to walk by the alley and give whistles. If you notice, there was no tours down there tonight. I pissed off the new neighbor. Got a phone call from the tourism office and said I cannot bring people down there.
So we walk down there ourselves.
You can. By all means do so. It is the most gorgeous place we have in Charleston. I will argue that point all day long, day or night. Now, keep in mind, we're about 3 blocks away from East Bay Street on a Friday or Saturday night in Philadelphia Alley. It is this quiet. Keep that in mind. It's closer to East Bay Street, and you can't hear it. I don't know why. It's just weird. Eerie. So when I was taking my tours down there, it was a matter of using my audio. All spirit boxes off, all noisemakers off. Listen to your audio. Listen for those whistles. It's going to be faint. You know, I've had the word whistle come through on a spirit box. You know, just to show you how exciting that was for me. Let's talk about where we are, because this location is very popular. I'm really surprised there's no other tours out tonight. I must be the only cool tour guide working. I'll take it. So this place, normally everybody goes up to the gates to talk about the cemetery. We talk about cemeteries, and normally you're not going to hang out where you're buried, right? You're going to go to the places you love. But everybody goes up there because there's a sign right inside the cemetery that says there's no ghost at St. Philip's besides the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for it. 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy, 6 days after her stillborn child from heart failure. Now, in 1987, 99 years later, we have a local photographer in town. No, it wasn't me. She was taking pictures. He was taking pictures, I'm sorry. I got on the track that it was a woman. He was taking pictures of all the cemeteries. He captures a full apparition. It's 1987, right? So it's like, what the hell is this? He sends it off to Kodak because we don't have cell phones and apps and all the stuff we have now. That's cool. We can debunk stuff pretty quickly. Kodak can't debunk the picture either. So it is a living legend for guys like me that this guy caught this apparition here. However, the picture's cursed. There are mostly females here tonight. I don't show the picture. It is cursed because females that hold it, you're going to get the same symptoms as what I told you back at Big John's, probably a little bit more extreme. Pregnant, you're probably not going to have a good pregnancy. So I don't show the picture on my tours. So if another tour guide's trying to show it to you, just don't handle the phone or tablet or whatever it is they're trying to show you. So again, it's one of those, if something comes up on our evidence list related to that, I will always put that heated warning in there. This is the picture that is cursed that I told you about. Please click with caution. So that's on you. How did you fall off of there?
I didn't fall. I'm fine.
Okay. Like you're sitting.
She's also 2 feet tall. She probably can't touch.
She probably can't touch. I'll let them find out. There's a lot more going on with this corner, but I do want to get you guys kind of looking at the next investigation because you guys seem pretty eager. Do you guys see the gas lamp off in the distance?
I was just looking at that.
That is the Pirate House. The Pirate House has a big anchor on the front of it. You can't miss it. However, somebody lives there. Don't go in this backyard. You get this. Don't ask me how I know. But the cool place about that is because that's where Blackbeard's men would come off their ships and they would come hang out, have a few drinks, meet with the ladies, and they dug a tunnel from the Pirate House 1 block over to Dock Street Theater. Dock Street Theater at the time was called Planters Hotel. It still had plays, but it also had prostitution, and let's face it, pirates tied really good knots. They would go over there to work for a few days at the theater in between their bartering with the locals. So it was a big deal. How do we know that that tunnel is a real thing? It's because we just filled it in the 1990s. The rumor was that Blackbeard hid his treasure there, but we all know that that damn treasure's in North Carolina. So, sorry, treasure hunter here too. We'll talk about that later if you'd like. But at any rate, we're going to be talking about a pirate next at the Powder Magazine, and it is a kick-ass female pirate, which is really cool because we have mostly females and Dustin. So, no, but the next location is got a lot going on, and it's more of that expert level. You guys are really doing great with some of this evidence and telling me some extra stories. You guys are all, like, on track. Consuela hasn't really said much. She's like, you gave me a laser show. I don't know what to do with it. But do we have anything that popped up in the meantime?
The letter G.
Another, we have GW. Trying to think of all the other stories that are around here.
Purgatory. Who is she? Who is she? Purgatory. Pink here.
Very big. Yeah, not big
We
enough.
have like really.
Oh, I heard you guys were listening too, so what did you guys have up on your...
Who is she?
Purgatory here, and what is that when the booming is going on?
And then didn't you get withdrawal too? While he was talking.
Interesting. Alright, let's go across the street for some of that's coming our way.
We'll deal with it. We'll have a shopping cart. I'm going in his backyard. I'm not with you. I'm gonna see if it's 50 and off and off.
I totally looked at that picture like 2 hours ago.
I know we need to put it up on your phone.
Alright, so first off, we are standing literally on the other side of the other half of the cemetery. Our cemetery at St. Philip's is split into 2, east side and west side. The east side is for native Charlestonians only. This side is for everybody else. I tell you this because John Calhoun is on the other side. So he's not from here. They try to figure out where he's supposed to go. They moved him several times. So if you can actually visit this side of the cemetery. He's in a press office. They have to exhume the guy. You can just pick him up. But if you can actually visit this during the daytime. So it's really cool in there. It's actually, most of our cemeteries are beautiful. As you can imagine, I visit quickly. But yeah, this is probably one of the most famous ones we have. But we're going to be talking about that little building over there with the crosses on it.
Yeah.
So those aren't crosses, those are earthquake bolts. Remember I told you guys about earthquakes? So we had one scare in 1886, then we started adding earthquake bolts to all the crazy buildings. This building is the oldest building we have on the East Coast. It's the Powder Magazine, finished in 1713. This was the first building we put earthquake bolts into. So as you can see, those crosses are pretty crude. Once we get closer, you'll see they're not even evenly cut, which is very interesting. So remember I told you about the Charlestown walls and how we crossed that street? This was the street we crossed. It's Cumberland Street. This is exactly where the Charlestown Wall was. So, if you think about it, the Powder Magazine, which held all the gunpowder from different wars, was in the corner of the Charlestown walls. The wall went about half a block past that, and then started going down towards the battery. So it's literally protected in that very corner on purpose. Those walls are 32 inches thick, so if it's getting attacked by cannon, those walls will help protect the gunpowder inside. But if it makes it through, the roof is filled with sand. The gunpowder will explode, go up in the air, while the building is on fire below, the sand will fall and allegedly put out that fire. It sounds like a great idea, but it doesn't work. So we had another powder magazine closer to the battery, identical to this one, that I know of. And it did get attacked because it's much closer to the water. It got attacked by cannon, it exploded, the sand went up, and couldn't put out the fire, the whole building burned to the ground, and we lost all that gunpowder. So, during the time that this was built is where our story comes from. This building took a decade to finish, 1703 to 1713. So, 1708, right in the middle of that, a young lady moves here. I got 3 lines, man. I'm talking too much. Gotta keep going. Alright, so 1708, a young lady moves here with her dad. You guys gotta kind of keep track on this one, because this one is a doozy. There's a lot of twists. So, with her dad and his mistress, who happen to be her mother, and they're leaving Ireland to get away from his wife. You guys with me on this one?
Yeah.
A lot of twists. So, her name was Anne Cormack. Anne Cormack, obviously seeing this building being finished, becomes a teenager. Pirates are coming through town, she falls in love. His name is James Bond. James Bonnie. What's the giggles for? You guys know James Bonnie? So anyway, James Bonnie is a filthy pirate and dad doesn't approve. So what happens? They move to Jamaica, they get married, Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonny. Okay, so you can Google kick-ass female pirates, Anne Bonny's #1. So what happens from there is when she gets there, James Bonny's not the pirate she was hoping for. She wanted that Captain Jack Sparrow kick-ass drunkard guy, right? Didn't happen. This guy was a privateer, which basically meant he was a spy for the British. He's a coward. Okay, so he's ratting out his own men to the British. So she falls in love again to get away from him. His name is John Rackham. We're on guy #2. I'm going to keep tally for you. John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. Much cooler name, much younger guy, has his own ship, very kick-ass. Calico Jack, he was named that because of the way he dressed, because he wore the clothes of the men he killed. So he always had like really nice clothes. They weren't always clean, but he had nice clothes. He was Calico Jack. So Jack has a ship. She wants to be part of it. Females curse pirate ships. So he says, you gotta dress like a dude in order to be able to become part of my crew. You could be my girlfriend up in the quarters, but you're gonna be a dude on the crew. She agrees. She's good with it. Dad used to hide her in Ireland by dressing her as a boy, as an apprentice to his attorneyship, to keep her away from his wife. So she was already used to dressing like a guy. She's cool with it. Like whatever. Obviously being a female in his quarters, she gets pregnant. Can't have a pregnant dude on the crew. So what's he do? He drops her off in Cuba. Again, keywords, Cuba. With friends to go have the baby. Go have the baby, we'll figure it out later. She has the baby, but leaves, and we don't know what happens to the baby. The baby's not with her. So again, a lot of loopholes in this story. She comes back dressed as a female. She doesn't give a damn about hiding her gender anymore. This obviously makes Jack pretty pissed off. So she starts flirting with the guys that he just captured down below deck. Guy #3. You guys with me? Yeah. Crazy chick. So, the person that she's flirting with reveals their gender as a female dressed like a guy to become part of the pirate crew that was captured by Calico Jack. Say that 10 times fast. I dare any of you to do it. So, this is a female. Her name is Mary Reed. The two obviously become friends. She convinces Mary Reed to become part of the crew. So she does. Hides her. She's like, we'll be 2 kick-ass chicks, right? So, the British fleet comes rolling in. All the other pirates are too drunk to come up and fight. We're talking about a whole fleet, by the way. It's not one ship attacking another. A fleet. A lot of ships. It's Anne Bonny and Mary Reed trying to take on the entire British fleet. Obviously, that ship gets captured. They hurry up and they dress like guys again. They're going to reveal their gender in front of the judge. So, all the pirates that were down below deck, including Calico Jack, get tried and hung pretty quickly. The judge, his name was Nicholas Laws. Yeah, my name shows up on these tours a lot. So, he wants to see those 2 fighters by themselves, where they reveal their gender when they go in front of him. He says, I don't care that you're female, I'm still going to try and hang you. We plead our bellies, which both means they claim to be pregnant. We don't know how true that is. He says, I don't care, I'm still going to try you. We'll delay your hanging until after the baby's born. Dad's still here in Charleston with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne Bonny and brings her back home. From there, what we know of, she got remarried, or just for counting Mary Reed as a guy. Got remarried and had 4 kids and died at the age of 84. Don't know how we have such specific facts, but nothing else in between. Some say that she moved from here to Virginia. Some say she stayed here. I have no idea. Mary Reed, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imaginations. I'm sure it was very bumpy. So, a little bit of scurvy going on. Now, again, this is a very familiar building to me. It's still here. That was 300 years ago. So you can ask about the trial, you can ask about dates on a trial, you can ask about the babies, if she was really in love with Mary Read. I don't care what you ask, I just need to know what it is and what answers you're getting. We're going to get closer to this building. Dustin, if you want to go to the front of the building to kind of get some things up there, you can. Same thing with Amy and Consuelo. If you guys want to use your lasers on the front, be careful with your lasers in the front. Don't go above the little part because there's apartments back there. If you go higher than the roof, you're going to be flashing somebody's living room. Definitely want the REM pod going in here. This is a dead zone for you. If you get anything, I want to know, because that means something else is going to give me something else too. Spirit boxes, kind of loud and proud. If other tours walk through here, we're going to stay out of their way. We're the noisy hangout group. Obviously, some tours want to hang out and just tell their story and then move on. We'll let them do their thing. So, let's have some fun with this last one, guys. That's wherever you want to. If you want to team up with a Spirit Box person, do so. That's where it's probably going to be at.
It's pretty dead in here. Dead in here.
But knee flapper.
That's the only one of dead jokes.
Amy, do you know anything about this building?
I don't. I haven't lived here all that long.
Like Shannon just stepped away from me. Shannon's like, don't touch me. It wasn't you.
Or the name of your baby.
Right, yeah.
Or the name of your baby. That's just a baby. Yeah.
What?
Where did you die?
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Norman the doll. There's Norman the doll too. He's a cursed, possessed doll. I get a lot of glitches out of this place on that camera. Have you had anything weird?
A couple of things when I went around to the front and held my hand through the gate.
Okay. Any white glitches that I need to watch for?
I didn't see anything white, but I did see some black balls kind of.
Oh, that's really cool. I'll definitely be looking for that. I want to see if I'll REM pod because it gave me some activity the other day.
I'm gonna try one more time.
She was a school teacher. So I don't know if we have Elizabeth. Cool. But yeah, the story is, it's called Coogan's Porch. It's a restaurant.
We were going to go eat there, and you have reservations, and I didn't know.
So Coogan's a dog. I'm telling you the story to get the word educator in case something else comes up and everybody will get the story later. What did I say, girl? I'm telling you the story now? So basically the woman lived there with her sister, Elizabeth, and Elizabeth died after staying in a home. The two never married. But Zoe was a school teacher. I get Zoe's name a lot when I used to go to the Wagner building, like through Philadelphia Alley, and then I'd take people down that way. Instead, I had to start coming up here. But the name Zoe would show up a lot. Elizabeth showed up a lot. Dog, because Coogan is a dog. He was the neighborhood dog when they were reconstructing the building into Coogan's. So when the dog died, the construction crew actually put a memorial of Coogan right outside the door. So when you go in, just look to your right. Like if you do happen to get some reservations there, there's a little memorial with like the dog sitting right there. And they say you can actually feel him. Like, you can feel him on it. He's so weird. because those are all timestamps, which is really cool. So what I love about going through all the data, especially because all of it has timestamps, and I know the tour pretty well. Like, our first 30 minutes we were talking, and then at the Big Red Barn, another 30 minutes at Pinckney Mansion, 10 minutes to get to Lodge Alley, then we spent 5 to 8 minutes there. So I know all of the different time periods of how we're going to do things. But how many people were you guys with you guys at the jail?
Just 6.
Just 6.
That's the only reason why we did it. 6 people and him 7. But normally said it's like 25 people. And I was like, nope.
It's too many people.
But at first he just said it was going to be just us 3, and I was like, sold.
Yeah.
And then 4 more people came.
But so the city says we're allowed to go to 20 on the streets of Charleston. I won't do it. I wasn't doing it before.
That's enough.
Well, you gotta remember when I started this tour, I didn't have all this cool stuff. I had a recorder and a spirit box. And I was obviously I'm charging too much, but it was like, let me start up with 5 to 8 people, see how I can do it. I used to manage over 300 people with my regular job. I was like, I can handle 5, but can I keep them entertained? That was the whole point. But once I started expanding the kit, and I still got more stuff coming. Like, we're still eyeballing the GoPro for full spectrum, so that way that video will be there. Because I have the lighting for it, I just don't have a camera that'll read it. Like, I got it because it was on like this crazy sale from my supplier. I'm like, man, this will be really rad later. And now I'm looking at GoPros and full spectrum, like what's going to be the best piece. I want more professional equipment than what these guys are using on TV. So like a GoPro versus just some hokey GoPro camera, or but like that camera that you have, like there's a million different ones you can use. That one probably gives us the best quality, and it records everything at a small scale as far as size goes, so that way it doesn't take up too much size on my website. But I love that bit. I tried putting it on a tablet, it makes the whole thing go wonky, because you need a on-the-go adapter and all kinds of mess. It just doesn't give us the very fluid. I only tried it, I think, on 2 tours. I'm like, I hate this. This sucks. Like, we're not using this. I flipped it both times.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry you guys had kind of a weird experience at the jail. I mean, it's not my gig, but
Yeah,
it kind of raised the
honestly, yeah, like I said, we just wanted to go in, and that was the only way to.
I guess they gave it so much hype.
It is haunted. Don't get me wrong. I did do an investigation. Ton of shit. I wasn't inside. I didn't need to go inside. I had enough evidence outside. So, again, it's haunted. It's cool. They're not doing the right thing by it.
No, not even close.
And the only cool thing I guess you should know about like your ticket
Your
price,
tour should be in that building, or at least one of the stops.
Yeah.
They should totally just.
It's really out of the
They
way.
should just give them the old.
Well, all of your ticket price, most of it goes towards keeping that place open.
Yeah, I feel like it costs a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, you gotta remember, I charge $35
Yeah.
for double the time and data back.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you if you don't mind telling me.
Yeah,
That's
and
quite a bit.
that was with 20% off too. Well, allegedly.
Wow.
You could have just been lying. No, because I just did it over the phone.
Yeah.
So here's my card number.
So I normally charge $35 a head and 16 for kids, like under the age of 16. So to me that's fair. Plus I'm on all of the resellers too. But next year the
Absolutely
White
fair, and you would engage us and the equipment.
We went through the whole building.
Yeah, that would be really cool though.
I loved it. It was so cool.
We're gonna go We're gonna go stay the night up there one day soon.
Eventually, you have to like 8 people, but they like.
You gotta
get
book
in
it
there
like
at night.
years in advance, like a year in advance.
Still.
6. Does that mean anything?
Give me 2 more of those and maybe.
I got nothing.
Oh, I get it.
I got nothing on 6. Because technically she would have 5 kids. 1 in Cuba, 4 with the 4th marriage. Watch the lasers.
She had a
Don't look too high.
side piece we don't know about.
Maybe. Probably. She was born in 1697, so it doesn't even match up. Her trial was November 20th, so that doesn't match up. And that was November 20th. So, 1720. So we literally just passed the 300 years. So on the night of November 28th, the only reason I remember that date is because that was the day I started giving this part of the tour. Because I had obviously November 28th come up and 300. So So I was like, okay, I'll take it. I didn't even believe the story until I started getting shit from my tours a couple months ago. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll keep doing it. Pretty cool stuff. All right, let me follow up with everybody else, and then we'll wrap this up. Anything else crazy coming out of you guys?
Here, come over here with me to the front.
Don't get hit by that car.
Hail.
Alright, just take it to the jump. Just kidding.
I am 5'2".
Muggsy Bogues. 5'3". It's the water bottle. Pull on my britches now.
All right, let's get everybody grouped up, and we're gonna call it a night, guys.
Cool.
So,
America again, and then I was like, what do you want to know? What do you want us to know about America? And then you're pregnant, clear as day. I want to go down that now. I don't know how you did that.
Philadelphia.
hopefully,
That's
Dustin
the one
was
we
close
walked.
enough to where you can capture it on the audio from there. So very cool stuff. So what happens from here? Well, let's go through like some of the things that you guys heard, like while you were here. Did you guys get anything very specific to this location?
Well, I did ask about baby,
Okay.
and I heard, I asked her where the baby was, and I heard at home with, and then I didn't hear after that.
So then, Renee could be at home in Cuba that we know of.
I'm convinced it's America.
I think we just keep hearing America.
Yeah,
so.
over and over again.
Very interesting. We had the number.
gift.
We had the
It just
number
said-
6. It said it's a gift. We had the number 6 come up on the word list. Now they did ask not so long ago, right when I was standing with them, how many times did you fall in love, or how many times did you get married? They heard it doesn't matter, and then the number 6 comes up over here. So again, I don't have. I gave you 4. I don't know how many more there were. So Dustin has a few things for me to check out from the front of the building, so I'm definitely going to be looking into that. So if you're interested in pirates, I'll be honest, I never even believed this story until I started coming here regularly. I didn't even want to make this part of the tour. I had to be kind of forced after I pissed off the neighbor in Philadelphia Alley. So I was like, let me see if anything actually comes out of it for about a week and see what happens. Lo and behold, I'm getting more and more, and now I'm almost like, I know so much about pirates that I never wanted to because I'm not that guy. I'm more of a vampire guy. So, but if you are super interested in pirates, there was a great documentary on Netflix, and I'm not a sponsor for them, but it's called The Lost Kingdom of Pirates. It was amazing. It did not feel like watching a documentary at all. The reenactments were phenomenal. It was like watching a movie. And Bonnie is in there, Calico Jack, Blackbeard, Steve Barnett is in there. He's another Charleston pirate. So all of these guys were all in there and talked about their time in Nassau and how they built up the democracy for piracy. Because they did a lot, they voted their own captains. They were a very civilized group of people. So it's really cool stuff. But if you're into that, I usually recommend going into it. Of course, with the amount of references we have, I'll obviously be giving you some links. Here's what I'll tell you when I go through data. I don't listen to the audio. So as far as what they heard on their spirit box, you're going to have to listen to the audio. I know the story's over again. You basically have this for reference and for any kind of EVPs that are going to show up. Again, you have to tell me what the EVPs are. I only have so much time to go through all of this stuff because I'm a school kid. So I hate calling myself a kid because I'm definitely not a kid. I have kids that are probably older than, they're not older than me. So, they're out of high school, put it that way. But at any rate, so when I go through this stuff, you're going to get a quick analysis, and then it's up to you, whatever you guys find. So you guys all seem like you were very engaged, and I can't thank you enough for that. I have some tours where I'm like, all right, thanks guys, give me my stuff, I gotta go. You know, but you guys were really engaged, and that's very appreciative on my part. So thank you for that. That was huge. Some of you made comments based on other tours that you've taken. I appreciate those as well. What's even gooder, I'm the English guy, I can say gooder. Reviews are my best friend. So wherever you guys booked your tour, leave a review. It's huge to me. You guys read the reviews obviously before you booked your tickets, so you can see how much that makes a big difference. And one-liners are great too, but most people feel like they need to write 3 paragraphs. So, but they had that much fun. But I'm glad you guys did. So let's collect your devices. I was letting them run for an extra few minutes just in case something was popped up and you guys had a longer...
The name Lucas just popped up.
Did it really? Nice. So I will tell you, we are literally only half a mile, about 3 blocks away from the Pinckney Mansion site. Eliza Lucas. So again, when I get those answers later, she just needed to kind of muster up that energy to get over to us. She probably followed us here. So, but you guys also heard the word pregnant. I'm sorry, I didn't go through the stuff that you guys heard.
We are pregnant. And then somebody asked a question like, where are you or where did you go? And she says, after the kids. Yeah, it was creepy. I liked it.
Alright, I have to collect this stuff in a very specific order because the wife bought me new cases, not thinking of how I have to do this. So, she tries to help. Oh, yeah, show up right. So, questions, comments, concerns?
I'm so excited to go over this.
And I actually look forward to hearing from you guys, so don't hesitate when you guys find stuff. You'll have my email address because I'm going to give you my card. I'm normally done by noon. Don't freak out if I'm not done right away. If I get, 1 o'clock or so, it usually means I had a technical difficulty. Red Spirit box is in this case. So, like today, my folks from last night were texting me because my phone was blowing up for tonight and it was already fully booked because you guys are all here. So I was literally turning away money, and I don't care because you guys all had fun. I could have added probably 35 more people. I know you people were calling me, but I don't do that. Phones. Who has a phone? Well, she's looking to get rid of hers. So say, take this stuff.
It's like a gun.
It's actually to help us debunk things that Dustin finds. So it's just the surface temperature.
Oh, okay.
I also have a psychrometer, but that stays at home because I don't need extra pieces that I don't always use. EMF.
Yeah, I can be very
Black
loud.
Spirit box. Yeah, you guys did awesome. These are the tours I look forward to. And you can honestly see that that's a genuine response. What am I missing? Thermal imaging camera. Oh, you guys had both phones. Look at you. Thanks, man. Down here. 1 video.